Ever feel completely burned out? Like you're carrying this weight you just can't seem to put down. Well, there's this ancient invitation in the Gospel of Matthew that speaks directly to that exact feeling. So today, we're going to dive deep into Matthew chapter 11, verses 27 to 30, and see if we can find a timeless solution for our, let's be honest, very modern exhaustion.
It's a really strange paradox when you think about it, right? The harder we try to control everything in our lives, the less peace we seem to have. It's this deep spiritual exhaustion, and it's a real struggle, even for people of strong faith. So, what gives? Where's the disconnect? Well, the answer, at least according to the Gospel of Matthew, isn't about grabbing more control. It's actually about letting it go.
All right, so to really get the power of this invitation, you got to understand the context. It doesn't just show up out of nowhere. It comes right after some of the absolute harshest language Christ uses in the entire gospel. Seriously.
So on one hand, you have Christ calling out these cities, laying down some serious judgment because they saw his miracles and still wouldn't repent. And then, literally in the very next breath, he offers this incredibly gentle, tender invitation. This contrast is totally intentional, and the takeaway here is huge. The toughest judgment is reserved for people who think they've got it all figured out, who think they don't need help. But the most loving invitation, that's for the ones who know they do.
Okay, so before he even gets to the part about rest, Christ drops the key to everything. He lays out the theological foundation for how we can actually know God. And it's all wrapped up in this incredible mystery, this unique relationship between the Father and the Son.
And this verse is just absolutely crucial. Christ is making a claim here that is just radical. He's saying he is the only way to God the Father, the only access point, all authority, everything has been given to him. Think about what that means. Finding God isn't about checking off a list of rules. It's about a relationship with a person, with Jesus.
And the early church fathers had some incredible insight on this. They looked at this and saw that, hey, this isn't just about Jesus getting a promotion or something. No, this speaks to his very nature, that he's both fully God and fully man. The Father reveals himself through the Son. What that means for us is pretty simple. To really truly know God, you have to go through Christ. There's no other way.
So after laying all that groundwork, establishing that he is the one and only path to the Father, Christ then turns and gives what might be the most famous invitation in all the Gospels. This right here is the heart of it all, and it's for anyone and everyone who feels like they just can't keep going.
Yeah. Just let those words sink in for a second. It's so direct, so personal. He's not calling you to a system or a new philosophy. He's calling you to a person. Come to me. He's offering something that the world, with all its promises, just can't give. Real, genuine, soul-deep rest.
So, let's break this down. Who exactly is he talking to? Well, the laboring, those are the folks who are just exhausted, worn out from the constant, draining effort of trying to save themselves, trying to fight sin and anxiety all on their own. And the heavy laden, they're the ones being crushed by the weight of religious rules, the pressure to be perfect, the burden of their own failures. Sound familiar at all?
And again, the early church fathers really hit the nail on the head with this one. They pointed out that this invitation, it's not for the people who think they have it all together. It's specifically for those who are honest enough to say, I'm at the end of my rope. I'm done. That moment of acknowledging our weakness, that humility, that's the very door that lets God's grace and rest flood into our lives.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? It's a beautiful theological idea. But how do we actually live this? How do we take this ancient invitation and apply it to our crazy, busy lives today? Well, the passage itself actually gives us a really practical three-step guide.
And you'll see this path to rest is surprisingly down to earth. First, it starts with just being brutally honest in prayer. No more pretending you're fine when you're not. Just tell him what's weighing you down. Second, it's about taking on his yoke. And that just means embracing small acts of obedience, little things. And third, it's about a daily commitment to learn straight from the source, from the Gospels. You see how each step builds on the last? It's a process that moves us away from our own burdens and into his rest.
Now let's talk about that word yoke, because I know it can sound kind of intimidating, right? It makes you think of something heavy, something restrictive. But then Christ ends with this amazing paradox. He says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." So what's going on here? How on earth can taking on a yoke make your life lighter?
Okay, here is the absolute bottom line. We are all carrying a yoke.
Every single one of us. The only question is, whose yoke is it? See, the heavy yoke, the crushing one, that's the one we put on ourselves. It's made of impossible standards, the weight of our sin, the constant demands of our own ego. And the worst part, we carry that completely alone. But Christ's yoke, that's totally different. It's a shared life, it's walking in obedience with a loving Father, but you're carrying it together with Christ. And His grace is what makes it light. Surrender doesn't add weight, you see. It just transfers it to someone who can actually carry it.
And really, that's the ultimate takeaway from all of this. We spend so much of our lives thinking that if we could just change our circumstances, get a different job, fix a relationship, move to a new city, then we'd finally have peace. But Christ is teaching something so much deeper. The path to rest isn't out there somewhere, it's internal. It's found in one place, by coming to Him, by learning to live His way, and by learning from His gentle and humble heart.
So look, if you're listening to this and you feel exhausted, if you feel burdened, please know this. This invitation isn't just some historical artifact stuck in a book. It's alive. It echoes through 2,000 years, and it's being spoken directly to you, right here, right now. That offer of rest, it's still on the table. The only question left is, will you accept it?